Hello. Thank you for joining us on this momentous occasion. God, I need an intro. Welcome back to the Cinema Draft Podcast. I am Eduardo Jackson, creator and CEO of Cinema Draft, the game, where daily fantasy sports meets the movies. But instead of drafting athletes from teams, you are drafting actors from movies, and how their movies perform at the North American box office will earn you points for your call sheet of actors while competing against your friends for fun and prizes. Allow me to introduce my co-host, lead designer, Peter Vogt. Say hello to the people, Peter.
Co-host has been drinking. We are ready to go.
I've been drinking. That's right. Get your Beyonce on, man. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Been drinking.
So I will allow you to indulge. Yeah, I'll give you 30 seconds to crow about your excellent weekend of fantasy football. Go.
Da-na-na, da-na-na. Listen, I've got no business crowing here. Betting worked out well for me. 9-1, I think, for the last 2 weeks against you. No big deal, basically. I feel like at this point, the money for you.
It wasn't 9-1, sir. It was more like 7-1, but go ahead.
No way. So I had 6-1 this weekend, and then if you count the spread or the point total from last night, and then last week you were 0-3. So I'm no mathematician.
How they only end up paying you $5? I'm confused.
Well, okay, so because I did owe you money from a losing bet before.
Okay, fair enough. All right, fine. 9-1, guilty as charged. And I bring all this up only because we are seriously thinking about possibly doing a fantasy football podcast. So tell us what you think about, with Peter coming from a season-long standpoint, me coming from a daily fantasy standpoint. What do you think about us doing a fantasy football podcast? We'll probably have prop bets. We'll actually unveil our crappy weekend pick'ems and more. So tell us what you think. Email us at podcast.cinemadraft@gmail.com. That's podcast.cinemadraft@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about us possibly doing a fantasy football podcast, so we won't waste any more of your time on this general entertainment podcast with our fantasy football degeneracy. Okay, so I would like to introduce our drinking game. Peter, you might be well aware of our drinking game. Would you like to tell people what has been brought to our attention when it comes to the Cinema Draft Podcast drinking game?
So here's the key. If you really want to turn up when you listen to the Cinema Draft Podcast, you do a shot. All right, or a shot or a full. That's right. You do a shot or let's say a Ciroc coconut shot of any time we say it's lit, or it's lit family, or it's lit fam, or any variation of that.
Anything that's lit or happens to catch on fire, have a drink.
Yeah.
Damn
and
straight.
There's a whole backstory about why we say it's lit and all that. And we can get into that whenever. But, basically, Eduardo and I say that all the time. So, and then also you could probably start drinking every time I say a curse word, which, I'm going to try and cut back on that a little bit. But, because
why?
Well, listen, man, I know mom's listening. You know what I mean? So I know mom's listening, so I'm going to, out of respect for her, I'm going to try and keep the F-bombs to a minimum, but I'm from Boston, and the F-bomb is basically like saying hello, so I can't promise anything, but I'm going to try.
All right, Mom. So we're already warning you in advance. Don't be shocked if little cursing escapes our lips.
That's right.
It's gonna happen. We swear. So also, Peter, as usual, is from an undisclosed location. Me, apparently, I'm on vacation. Thank you, Google Hangouts, for this very lit family. Take your first drink for the very lit backgrounds. It's experimental.
You got to explain it for the people who aren't watching on video, though. Exactly what you got going on.
Thank you. We do have a podcast following. Thank you, all 12 of our followers. Appreciate you, family. So basically what we've got going on today is Google must have rolled out over the last week these experimental backgrounds. So I'm being experimental with the experiment, or experimenting with the experimental. I've got a what would you call that? Looks like maybe Aruba, St. Thomas type background, whatever, some vibe. Looks like I'm hollering at y'all from a beach with crystal blue waters. And
That looks like the crystal blue waters of the Caribbean to me, boss.
there you go. Not that I've been, but from what it looks like from Google Maps, Google Earth, looks like I'm broadcasting from the beach. So. So for all y'all who have taken the time to come visit us at our YouTube channel, the Cinema Draft YouTube channel, appreciate it. Enjoy the lovely view. But for now, we will get right into our first segment, which is what I'm watching. And since Peter has pretty much won everything else this damn weekend, why don't you go first and tell us what you be watching?
I'm not watching a whole lot, to be totally honest with you. I'm still playing Madden every day. I'm still watching football, all weekend long. College on Saturday, NFL on Sunday.
Sure. What college teams you following?
I'm a Texas Tech guy, but I'll watch basically any game that's on. I live in Coug territory. I don't turn up for them or anything, but I live here. Everybody's about that. They're about that life out here, so I feel like I got to follow them at least a little bit. Plus, it's easy because I don't have to figure out what game is on TV. Like, actually, the UW game will be on always, and the WSU game will be on always, so I always know it's on.
UW, yeah, go Dogs!
Yeah, it's really funny to see.
On the west side.
Well, it's really funny to see the Washington State rivalry between Washington State and UW because that shit is real. They are angry. They do not like each other. And it's funny because, Pullman.
Yeah, y'all be couging it over in Pullman. Y'all be couging it.
Eastern Washington, man, it's like, this is all we got out here, man. This is all we got. We got farming and we got the Cougars, and EWU, I guess, if you want to go there. But that's an FCS team, so we don't fuck with them. But yeah, but my wife is super turned up because Shameless starts, I think in just a couple months.
Starts Sunday. No, it starts Sunday.
Oh, okay.
They moved this shit up early. I think it's because Emmy Rossum got pregnant. Tell your wife I fucks with Shameless too. I'm with her. Tell her to holler at your boy. We can have some recaps. We can bring her on the pod to have a Shameless mini cap. I love that show. That show is just crazy, all the way crazy, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I watched the first 2 seasons, but beyond that, I didn't really like it. But she's a very devout follower of the show, and so she's really excited. But other than that, it's basically been all quiet on the I'm watching front.
All right, well, let me hear what I'm watching. As usual, I made a trip to the movie theaters. Went and saw Magnificent Seven as the reigning, Denzel of the podcast. I mean, we all love Denzel, but I mean, my love of Denzel goes deep. Goes back to high school. I actually read the unauthorized biography about him with Douglas Broad back in the late '90s. At one point, I owned every Denzel movie to date through the early aughts, except for 2. I have an actual VHS copy of Carbon Copy. That's how deep it goes. So went to go see and support Denzel. Big shouts to him. Did a great job. He's charismatic. Held the film and everything. You can find my review or the real review over at medium.com/@cinemadraft. I give it 3 reels only because I'm not a huge Westerns guy. I'm not, but there were some very, 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 and for lack of a better word, lit. Some very, very lit.
Drink.
Yeah, drink. We had some very, very lit action centerpieces. 2 really big, just knockdown, drag out, just gun battles that will please any action lover and Western lover as well. So make sure you check it out. Manage your expectations, but it was a good time at the movies. I saw it in D-Box where the seat, moves all around and stuff. So I was in my element. Very lit. Also, Mr. Robot, the season finale, and it's still messing with my brain. I don't know what's going on, but I love it. I'm here for it. Looking forward to season 3. Sam Esmail, you did your thing. Shout outs to the Watch podcast. I'm an avid listener of that as well. I guess he's like a frequent guest on there, and very good job, Sam Esmail, the writer, director of this season, Mr. Robot. Also, we must mention the Power. Stars' Power season finale. My God. Okay, so just quick aside. So this is something that we used to follow real closely at work. Everyone but Peter, because Peter's too cheap to get stars. Anyways, Power. It's true. Power is, it is on one. It just keeps ratcheting up the crazy, ratcheting up the dynamics, the interpersonal, switcheroos. I mean, first he's with Angie, and then he's not. And I mean, as a true and Jamie, whatever, truther. I love those guys together, and seeing them apart is just killing me. And even though it's adultery on the thottish order, on the highest level of thottishness order, I'm there for that love, that illicit love. And it's sad that it kind of broke my heart when she slapped the cuffs on him, let him out of his nightclub truth. So can't wait to see where it's going next season. And the last thing I think I'll mention that I'm watching, and once again, Peter is not watching this because I see everything, is this new show called Pitch. Pitch.
Didn't see it.
No, I mean, well, so it had its first episode on Thursday. I mean, to be honest with you, like I love the high concept. Basically, the first female baseball player in the major leagues, right? And so they get this really young, attractive, athletic lady. Her name is what's her name in the thing? Something. Well, I forget her name on the show, but the actress's name is Kylie Bunbury. I think she comes from like the Disney, stable or whatever. Anyways, so she plays, a pitcher who has like a wicked screwball, makes it to the majors, where she's the first, she's on the eve of her first start. And I thought this would be super corny and really bad writing, and it's not very engaging. But I wanted to give it a shot because, quality, feminism, whatever. But it was actually really good. Good as far as like the script was better than average, but her performance, she's so fiery and she's got personality, and that's the thing I was a little worried about, because a lot of times when they make these firsts of anything, especially when you go like historically, they're like saintly figures. There's no rough edges or super polished. It's like it's like the storybook Jackie Robinson version, when we know Jackie Robinson would come up cleats high and spike a motherfucker. Anyways, she had a lot of fire to her, and there's a scene with Mark Paul Gosselaar, yes, Zach Morris of Saved by the Bell fame, is in this in a major way. He plays her catcher, and they have this whole cool little scene where they have this, getting to know you talk, whatever, and the talk's over, and she walks away, and he smacks her on the ass, just, one of the little sports smacks, which I never understood, even as a basketball player. Like, I'll give you like a backhanded tap. I'm not going to smack your ass. But anyways, he smacks her ass, and she pivots on him like, what the hell are you doing smacking my ass? And so he goes, and I quote, "I'm an ass slapper, rookie. I'm also the captain of this team, so from here on out, every time I slap your ass, you say, 'Thank you, sir, may I have another,' and take the mound." And I was like, okay, I like where this show is going. So it's Pitch on Fox. I think it's 8 p.m. Thursdays. Make sure you check it out. Big shots to them.
I just want to, walk it back a second, because it's more. It's more about an FU to DirecTV and less about like me being cheap. So okay. It's not that I'm too cheap to get stars, dude. I want stars. I pay money for TV, man. My DirecTV bill is real because I got Sunday Ticket. I have all the movie channels, but for whatever reason, they give me every movie channel under the sun except Stars, and I'm sure there's some kind of weird explanation for it, but I don't know what it is. So
sounds like Stars trying to pull a power move on y'all. Well, I got it when it was included.
Well, someone's trying to pull a power move on someone. I don't know who, but FU to Direct, I automatically assume as a good tax-paying American that the cable company's trying to bone me. So FU DirecTV, give me Stars, give me all of that shit. I want it, and you're not giving it, and I pay way too much money to not get it. All right, sorry, go on.
All right, we're going to at DirecTV when we socialize this podcast. We send it out via social media. We're going to at DirecTV. You on notice in DirecTV. So anyway, so Pitch is a nice segue into this week's topic, which was kind of tossed off as a joke by Petey himself. But I took it for real, for serious, and we're going to do it. And I'm fine with it. I'm here for it. He said, well, why don't we do one of those like Netflix type categories where it's like, top 5 dark sci-fi movies with a strong female lead. I was like, sold. Yeah, do it. That's right. I'm here for it. So we're getting Netflixy with our subjects already, and it's all good. So Peter, go ahead. Set us off. You get first pick, since once again you won just about everything. And let's see. Just to give you guys a recap of the rules. Sorry if you're new to the podcast, as we're gaining viewers, by the viewers and listeners, because we are everywhere. We're at iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast from. Google Play Music. Thank you very much. So basically, for all our new listeners, the way we do it, we do kind of like a draft in a sense. Where we alternate picks. If Peter picks a movie that I want, it's off the board. I can't pick it, and I have to come up with something else. And so there's a little bit of strategy involved, So the first, ones may or may not be the ones we actually think are the best. It might be the ones we think might be coming off the board first. And likewise, some of the latter ones might be the ones we think are safe from Peter's, prying pop culture eyes. So, Peter, since you are 9-1 against me in fake football or whatever, go ahead and take your first selection, top five or first or five or your favorite dark sci-fi movies with a strong female lead. Go.
I'm like DJ Khaled on this category because I played myself, man.
Bless up.
Bless up. This was my category that I suggested as a joke, and then we ran with it, like you said. And then I went back and I looked at I tried every Google search under the sun for this category, and I found I was scraping, man. I'll be honest, I was scraping because mostly because women have been underrepresented in the genre, but then also too, I'm not a big sci-fi guy the way you are, so I'm gonna get this one right off the bat. I'm gonna get this out of the way right off the bat. We're going to go with Alien.
Oh, well, so I will. Okay, all right. That's an excellent pick. I will let you expound on why you chose Alien. I was going to choose Aliens, but since it's the same actress and the same franchise, you can have the franchise. Shit. Good pick, Peter. Well done. Yeah. Very lit, family. Very lit.
Thank you.
Tell us why Alien.
Well, to the gamification or strategy side of this, I'm really picking this number one, not because it's my number one favorite movie necessarily in the genre, but because I just had to screw you over because this is the obvious number one pick, honestly. I mean,
and honestly, I'm more of an Aliens, like Aliens, like the sequel guy myself. But I mean, it counts as the franchise. We'll give it to you. I can't pick Aliens. The floor is yours. Aliens to me is a far superior movie than Alien. But tell me why you picked Alien instead of Aliens, and just in general.
Well, I thought, the first one set the tone for all three, obviously. And then for me, I was real young. I mean, first of all, this movie came out in 1979, which that in and of itself is kind of crazy because I feel like the stuff that they did with special effects and the alien itself and all that, and all the scenes with the alien stock in the corner and all that shit. I mean, I feel like it was pretty advanced from a cinematography perspective for 1979, but I saw Alien when I was very young. And that movie kind of fucked with me real bad, I think, because that shit is scary. And to one end, I had the toys, I had the plastic alien toy and stuff. They were selling action figures and all that stuff, and so it had that sort of they tried to appeal to kids there for a little bit in the 90s. But man, that was a scary. Well, I think maybe they weren't appealing to kids, but I do know is that when I was a child, there were alien action figures, and I had some of them. And I remember
there were, and I don't know what exec thought it was a great idea to market a bunch of toys where you've got things popping out of people's chests. But bravo, Stranger, do what you do, get money.
Well, the one that I had too was specifically the scene where the alien opens its mouth and then there's a tiny meta mouth that comes out of it. The plastic toy that I had actually had that little mouth thing. I don't even know how to describe it coming out of it. But anyway, we're kind of getting off. We're kind of going down a rabbit hole of action figures there, but in marketing in the 90s. But anyway, so Sigourney Weaver just kicks ass after ass after ass and has no shortage of naysayers throughout the movie. And she is just, to me, the peak of this category for sure. I mean, she is the strong female lead in a dark sci-fi movie. I mean, we might as well close up shop now because everybody else is kind of second place to Sigourney Weaver in not like you said, not just Alien, but the whole franchise. All of them are really good movies, and she's phenomenal. in all of her appearances, and that's my number one.
She really brings it, and I mean it's everything from the tank top to the arms to the guns to she kicks major ass. Great pick, Peter. Way to play the game. That's how you play the game. Okay, so that takes that off the board. All right, well, good thing I came prepared. All right, so this is also a fairly obvious one, so I'm gonna take this one off the board quickly. I'm going with The Matrix and our girl Trinity, played by Carrie Ann Moss. I mean, you want to talk about kicking ass? I mean, that whole movie is just like, I mean, those guys have been in the shape of their lives. I mean, they all the martial arts, the special effects, the bullet time, all that stuff was just incredible. Carrie Ann Moss, I never heard of her up until then. I think she's Australian or something, or maybe she's American. I'm not sure, but that was the first time that most American audiences had got major exposure to her, and she really did it. She kicked major ass in all black leather and sunglasses with a very short, sleek haircut. I'm there for it. So that is my second pick, The Matrix and Trinity.
That's a great pick. That's not the one that I thought you were going to go with for your first pick, and we'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
But no.
So are you about to snake me for my first pick now? With your next pick?
No, because this is giving too much information away. But I will say that the movie that I thought was going to be your number one pick for this is something that I never would pick for a movie because I can't stand it. So So
anyway, think about that. All right.
But that was a good pick though. Matrix is I think I've only seen the first one. I don't know if I actually saw the whole trilogy. But man,
second one, Matrix Revolutions has got like some that whole car, the truck scene on the Oakland freeway. Oh my guys, it's I mean if you like stuff blowing up and just crazy shit, definitely see the second one. Third one kind of ended on a little bit of a meh note, but I enjoy that trilogy. I do mostly the first and the second one though.
Shit is lit.
Glug 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 glug.
All right.
There, that's a doorbell. Okay, I gotta get better special effects. All right, so your turn. Your second pick.
All right, so first of all, just before I take my pick, I just want to say I was drinking beer and now I've switched to this. Like my wife had these little the little single shots of tequila, and I mix a tequila with this passion fruit juice, and it is garbage.
No.
It is garbage. So if I start vomiting halfway through this podcast, we're gonna have to cut it.
I mean, I'm not a big drinker, but don't they say beer before liquor, never been sicker? Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Well, I'm almost 30, so
buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be.
As a borderline alcoholic, you would think I would know that by now, but I keep punishing myself. All right, so number 2 pick. I don't know if you've even seen this movie because this strikes me as something that you're not into. But Rose McGowan, Cherry Darling, Planet Terror, Robert Rodriguez, part of the Grindhouse series, 2007, I think, 2006. My God,
was that in the movie called Grindhouse? You know, I was cut in like 2 or 3 movies, right? Was that in Grindhouse?
Yeah, it was 2 movies. So it was Planet Terror was Robert Rodriguez entry, and then Death Proof was Quentin Tarantino, and that had Kurt Russell in it, and also had Rose McGowan in it.
I remember Death Proof, but I think I fell asleep before Planet Terror. So go ahead, educate the people and myself.
Well, no, I don't think you're wrong. Like, I don't think you're off on that. I think most people remember Death Proof more than they do Planet Terror. I think Planet Terror was a not as good of a movie, but it was still no. So she plays a go-go dancer who ends up being the zombie ass kicker of a lifetime. She loses a leg. She fashions a giant fucking machine gun rocket launcher to her leg and kills motherfuckers with that thing. And I talked to my wife. I was wondering if I was asking her if it would be cool if I got like Cherry Darling pinup style tattooed on my arm in the sleeve, because that's how dope that character is. She is so lit. She is
Yes. very lit. Have a drink. We getting y'all mugs drunk tonight, straight up. Okay, Peter Planetaire. I have nothing to add to that. I take your word for it. I believe you. And you know what? I'm gonna take this one off the board too because you might actually get to this. This was a very popular film, and I hope you saw this because it came out I think a couple years ago. It got some Oscar talk, and I'm talking about the one, the only Mad Max Fury Road. Charlize Theron as I forgot her name now. Furiosa, or something like that.
Furiosa. Yeah.
Furiosa. Woo! Bald head, which I can appreciate. You know, tatted. Kind of, raccoon makeup, just looking like she's ready to just light the whole world on fire. She was so lit, like you are now drinking at home. She was so lit that she wrested away the entire control of that movie from the lead character, Mad Max, Tom Hardy, who kicks ass in almost every movie. She wrested control of that movie away from him, and she made that movie her bitch, like straight up. That was a really great role, really great, strong, semi-silent role for her, and it just really, she was just really strong in so many levels. I really enjoyed her performance in that. I really enjoyed that movie, quite honestly. I need to see that again. That was an experience. Like I remember coming out of that movie, I might have been reviewing movies again at that point, or I did like one of my tweet reviews, whatever. But it was just so like an experience, and I think I saw it in D-Box too, so my seat was going every which way and stuff. So that was a great time at the movies, thanks to Charlize Theron and her Furiosa. God, what anything fun? That was good stuff.
That movie was very, very, very lit. I saw that movie at Alamo Drafthouse in Richardson, Texas, by myself at like 1 p.m, and I ate like 12 hot wings and downed a pitcher of beer by myself in the afternoon, and it was like the best afternoon ever. I was just sitting there like, because I actually wasn't a huge fan. I should say I wasn't a huge fan, but like, I never really saw the original Mad Max movies. I probably saw the first one when I was a kid, and I don't really remember it that much. But I kind of went into that like, oh, it's another big budget movie, like action, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But something about it compelled me to go see it at 1 p.m. by myself while my wife is at work. I got drunk as shit. I ate hot wings. Delicious food at Alamo Drafthouse. They choosing. And Alamo Drafthouse. This podcast is not sponsored by Alamo Drafthouse, but it fucking should be, because it's a partnership made in heaven.
That's the God's honest truth. And they are choosing. Imperator Furiosa. Yeah, she laid it down. That movie was very fun. And so that's the thing too with George Miller. Like you said, it could have been a big budget, blockbuster weird film, and it had a really big weird budget. But George Miller gets weird. He will paint your face in some weird kind of, look like a zombie, above ground zombie, with eyes. He'll have you driving these tricked out cars. He'll have you speaking in some sort of gibberish, like Nicholas Hoult, the little adorable kid from About a Boy is like, I think his name is like the driver or something. What was his name? Slit? No, his name was Nux. We don't even know his name in the actual film, but it's credited on IMDb as Nux. And he's out there saying crazy shit like, what a day! What a wonderful day! So, that movie was on one. I'm here for it. And yes, that is my pick. And I'm glad you can appreciate that, because that was on some shit. All right, third pick, you're up, Peter.
Third pick, good one. Coming up, it's a recent one. 10 Cloverfield Lane, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Woo! How did I miss that? Woo! Take a freaking bow. That is... I'm gonna shut up and let you roll. Just rock out with this one. I love that pick. That's an excellent pick. I'm mad I missed that. Mad it didn't make my list. Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead. I love that pick.
Now, I almost debated it because it kind of straddles the line of sci-fi a little bit. The first Cloverfield movie, hands down, no question, is a sci-fi movie for sure. But this one had enough trappings of the sequel had enough trappings of the first movie that it could very clearly be considered a dark sci-fi movie. So she, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she's in the car.
I love her. She's so talented.
She's so lit. And by the way, she is in Grime Proof. Or good Lord, I'm drunk. Death Proof. She's in.
She's in Death Proof for real? Oh
Yeah.
wow, she's been working.
Yeah, so she was listed in the intro credits as introducing Mary, not Mary Elizabeth Winstead. It was just Mary Winstead, and so that was kind of her first movie, and that was 2006-07.
She grew into her middle name. She grew into her middle name. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I guess it's a weird actor thing, or maybe it's like a married name. I have no idea. But 10 Cloverfield Lane, she is, we'll say, kidnapped. I don't want to. I always feel weird when we get into the description of the movie, so I don't want to spoil the movie too much. But let's just say she was kidnapped. She is held in this crazy,
bunker.
Bunker for doomsday prepper bunker, and long story short, she claws her way out, and she kicks fucking ass the whole way, and she takes down John Goodman, and she kills it. She's beautiful, amazing actress, just wonderful, great movie and great performance by a great actress. Loved it, highly recommend. 4 reels on my scale, baby.
Attaboy. And may I suggest, and I mean, this will convince you to watch this show I've been watching all summer, which has just wrapped up its first season. Hopefully renewed again. CBS, if you can hear me, renew this. But she is the lead, the star, the everything of Brain Dead. Brought to you by the Kings, Robert and Michelle King, the ones who brought us one of the top 10 network shows of all time, The Good Wife. Brain Dead is so lit, family, and it stars her. She's running the show. You need to check that out. Like for real. When it gets on to Amazon or Hulu, whatever, check it out. It was a good time. It really was. You like it? It was a bit like, it wasn't like kind of horror per se, but it's like sci-fi. Actually, that's another thing I found when I was researching this, is that there are so many more TV shows that have dark sci-fi female leads than movies. I mean, it's like its own little cottage industry on TV. But yeah, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but in like today with today's politics. It's so crazy. I think you really enjoy it. People's head exploding and shit. It's amazing. I love it.
It sounds right in my wheelhouse. I am firmly out of the loop on TV. You are the TV guy through and through. I don't know anyone who likes TV the way that you do. You know all the shows. You know all the connections, all that shit. And I kick myself in the ass sometimes because I'm like, I get recommendations for shows like that constantly, and it sounds like something I'd like, and I end up just never checking it out for some reason. But then when I finally do, on the rare instances when I do, it ends up being amazing. Like I had somebody who just was cramming True Detective down my throat, season 1. And I was like, nah, man, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm too cool for you, motherfucker. And then I watched it and I'm like, this is the best show ever. We watched all four of those first episodes when I found out about it that night. So yeah, so that's my pick. And you are the TV guy firmly, and I will check out Brain Dead. I'll promise you that.
Hey, everybody, if you guys have a show that Peter must watch, let's avalanche him with mail. Email us at podcast.cinemadraft@gmail.com. Send us your TV watching list, your TV watch list for Peter, because he needs to get on some shit. You need to get on Atlanta. There's like, just email us. I'll pass along to Peter. He needs to start watching more TV. It's healthy. It's American. Do your civic duty. Okay, my next pick. My next pick, just to take this one off the board because you'll probably get to it sooner than later, is Terminator 2.
Oh, you fucker. I wanted that one. That was on my list.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Patrick looking scary as hell, chasing down people robotic style with that upright Tom Cruise like running style. Yeah, I'm just gonna take this one off the board because I knew if I waited one more pick, it'd be gone. Linda Hamilton. I mean, there's really nothing to be said. Everyone knows Terminator 2 especially. I mean, I think I was about 9 or 10 when it came out. I didn't see it maybe for another couple years or whatever when it was maybe on TV or somewhere, or actually maybe I did see it in the theater. I can't remember. But anyways, I was a kid when it came out. It was very, 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 very fascinating. Like all the all the technology and stuff. No, the first Terminator was like 84, I think. And the second one, T2, came out like I think in the late 80s, early 90s. But anyways, it was really good. I mean, Linda Hamilton's as fierce as all get out. Once again, tank top, arms. You see a pattern here. If you want to project a strong female lead in a dark sci-fi film, you must have your de facto tank top. You must have, suns out, guns out. But yeah, she had guns and guns. She was ready to roll. So T2, y'all already know what it is. It's a cultural icon. Hasta la vista, I'll be back, baby. All sorts. Hasta la vista, baby, I'll be back. I mean, it's got everything you need, especially Linda Hamilton and hashtag dem arms.
You know what's funny about Terminator, specifically Terminator 2, to me was, and this is touching back to what we were saying about Alien and like marketing towards kids in the 90s. So when I was a kid, Terminator 2, the arcade game was gigantic. Like you could not go to a bowling alley. Jesus Christ, I sound old. You could not. You back in my day, bowling alleys all had condom machines. No, but back. You could not go to like a bowling alley or an arcade without there being a copy of that hot Terminator 2 very lit shooter. And on top of that, when I watched Terminator 2 when I was a kid, I remember seeing that intro scene where the whole world had been just decimated by Skynet, and robots are just fucking shit up, and there's fire, and it's like the Book of Revelation come alive, and there's like that little
preach to the congregation, preach.
There's that one scene where there's like the seesaw, like a children's playground, and the seesaw and like the little rocky horse and all that stuff, they're all set on fire. And I remember seeing that as a little kid and being like, that's kind of funny, like blowing it off. And then you compare it to Alien. Right? And when I saw Alien when I was a kid, I was horrified of that shit. And both of those movies, as like a young white male growing up in the suburbs, both of those movies were marketed, the franchises were marketed very heavily towards me. But both of them kind of affect me. I grow up now and I appreciate Alien as a horror movie, but I look at like the props and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, it's just a prop. It's just an alien. They did a great job for the time. But I look at Terminator 2 and I see those visions of the apocalypse and I'm like, dude, if Donald Trump gets elected, this might be what we're seeing. like
he's been sent by Skynet. He's been sent from the future to destroy humanity.
That's
the tagline for this episode. Donald Trump's been sent from the future by Skynet to destroy humanity.
Well, but not even that. Just like I look at, you can look at the Alien movie and you can be like, okay, as an adult, you can see that and you'd be like, all right, that's a sci-fi movie. They had special effects. It was epic for the time and all that stuff. But then I look at Terminator 2 and I'm like, ooh, those are visions of an apocalyptic future, which if Donald Trump gets elected, might not be that far away. We might be facing World War III. I'm being a little dramatic here, but you get what I mean. Like it's a lot.
And honestly, we should probably hold a podcast just on that, fearing for our future after that shit show of a debate. We got to keep it moving. T2 is a very lit pick. Glug glug, have a drink. And let me get to. There we go. Have a drink. And so make your fourth pick, Peter.
Okay. So this is a little bit of a cheap pick because I'll be honest, the movie. However, I'm gonna put number 4 as the X-Files movie. You
felt me. Okay, all right.
I am putting that shit down, because listen, I'll be honest.
I like the X-Files movie, to be honest. I didn't watch the series really, but I saw the movie out in the theaters, and I enjoyed it. That one shot where they're in the back of that car driving away from an Oklahoma City style terrorist attack. They both swivel their heads at the same time. That's a great shot. I just want to say that. I just want to throw that out there.
No, the movie was fine. Like it was a good movie, but I didn't. That movie doesn't crack my top 100 favorite movies, but I put it as number 4 in this genre because Dana Scully is such a hardo badass
and a cultural icon.
And she's a cultural icon. And I grew up with the X-Files every Saturday night. growing up, I would watch Fox 13 in Boston would have the X-Files reruns at like 11 o'clock at night. And my whole thing was on Sunday night, I didn't want to go to school the next morning. I would just watch the X-Files and stay up wicked late and end up being, tired as shit in the morning. And so much of that is derived from Dana Scully. She is truly the lead of that show. Like, Fox Mulder was great and he was an interesting character and all that, but Dana Scully was the true anchor of the X-Files. She was the scientist. She was brilliant. She was the counterweight to all of his ridiculous ideas, which were only right so many percent of the time, so many times. And so I gotta show love to Dana Scully because she is one of the greatest sci-fi characters, period, let alone one of the greatest female leads. And so I'll put the X-Files movie at number 4 just in honor of her.
Agreed. And quick fun fact about your boy, I spent a year at the DePaul Theater School MFA professional acting program. And while I was there, I found out that one of their alumna on the undergrad side, the BFA, was Gillian Anderson, who plays Dana Scully of the X-Files. And the funny thing is that when she was there, so I guess they held like some sort of gala for her the year I was there. So we're talking like 97, 98, whatever. She's, fully into X-Files. She's making money, everything. She's well known, and they're claiming her as their own, but yet I heard aside that she basically's got very little love for the BFA program because they basically try to they basically shaded her the entire time she was there. Now, of course, like the Mike Jones song, first then you didn't know me, now I'm hot, you all on me. They all are on her jock now. She was Gillian Anderson of the X-Files. So I too, when I get put on, will have zero love for the Paul Theater School program for kicking me out. Screw you. That's another pod. Okay, going on to my 4th pick before we get all up in our feelings on this podcast. I'm going to take this one off the board because this one might be in your range, possibly. I'm going to take Jennifer Lawrence from The Hunger Games. I mean, it doesn't get much more dystopian future than that. Jennifer Lawrence, I mean, it may sound unseemly because there's probably like a 15-year age difference, but I love Jennifer Lawrence. I love you, J-Law. Holla at your boy. We can make this happen. We can do this.
Not interested.
Bring no. What do you mean? Not in. No. We can do this, J-Law. We can do this. But seriously though, she's a great actor. She's super strong. She brings so much, for what could have been like a throwaway, young adult type role, whatever. She really brings some depth and grit to it. By the 3rd film, you're with her. You're with whatever she wants to lead you into. You're about it. I mean, I love it. It's a good performance. I didn't read the books, so I came into it totally cold. But that first movie, especially, I mean, she's got such depth and humanity to what could have been easily a paycheck role. So big shouts to you, J-Law. Love you, Katniss Everdeen. Go ahead, do your thing. And it is dark. You got, kids killing kids. So, don't be mistaken. The Hunger Games and that whole franchise is hella dark sci-fi of a dystopian future.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna go off on my tirade right now about this. It's gonna be I'll keep it brief, but it's gonna be a little bit of a tirade. And anybody who's listening to this is immediately gonna cast me as the hipster snob of film movies because I'll just be totally real with you. The Hunger Games, as we all know, is a flagrant ripoff of the Battle Royale movies, which are it's a Japanese film. They came out years before the Hunger Games. And
The what?
Pinned in a corner. I believe the director would have to admit, or the writer would have to admit, that the movie was completely ripped off. And now listen, respect. I'll do like Birdman, and I'm gonna put some respect on Jennifer Lawrence's name because I think she's wonderful. I think Silver Linings Playbook, she stole the fucking show. And she stole the show in a movie with fucking Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro. She stole the show. So it's nothing against Jennifer Lawrence. She's wonderful. She's great. She's a tremendous actress. But Hunger Games is a hard passaroni for me, sir. Not interested.
You're the only one. You're the only one. But I respect your opinion. I respect your differences. That's why I love you. That's why you're my boy. And that's why you got the next pick. Your last pick. Make it a good one.
last pick, and I cannot believe that you didn't take this. I just can't believe it. But I'm going to take your girl, Sandra Bullock, in Gravity. She is choosing in space.
Wow! Wow! How the hell did I miss that? Peter, I mean, and that shit's dark. She's floating outside of a fucking space station. She may not get back home. She has to basically re-enter on some craziness. That is hella dark. That is sci-fi. That is my girl. Love me some Sandy Bullock. Well done. Well picked. Tell the people all about it. Damn.
You want to talk about like Jennifer Lawrence? You want to talk about her stealing the show in a room full of big name guys? Listen, George Clooney. You're alone in a room with George Clooney, and you're Sandra Bullock, and you crush George Clooney's performance. Clooney.
But let's be real. I mean, I'm sorry, I just got to interject on this one. This movie was built around her. She didn't steal anything. If anything, he's trying to get on her level because it's a one-woman show. It's a one-woman show. This whole movie, Gravity.
No, I totally agree. But like George Clooney is such a prolific name in the acting world that if you put him in as the only other guy basically in the movie, I mean, there's some competition there. I mean, it's fucking George Clooney.
No, I like how they push each other in the movie too. There's a real good rapport there. So I mean, you're right. He does bring something to every role he has.
If it wasn't if it was a rollover type deal, they would have put Walter Goggins in there or something. But no, they put it. And listen,
Heresy.
I love. No. I love Walter Goggins, but he's not George Clooney, man. And Sandra Bullock crushed George Clooney. He's an afterthought. You think of that movie? George Clooney steals the show in everything. He stole our hearts for 10 years on ER or whatever it was throughout the 90s.
All right, screw Clooney. Tell me about Sandy. Tell me why you love Gravity. I'm with you on this. Though. I'm totally with you.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I feel like it's worth noting that she took the stage with George Clooney and she crushed his ass. I'm just saying. So. Right. I mean, well, listen, you gave the synopsis basically already. So, her and I don't know that partner is partner the word that astronauts use. I don't think so. But she gets launched into outer space. Shit goes terribly wrong, and she's got to make her way out. And I like I said, I always feel weird because I don't want to spoil the movie for people who haven't seen it. I don't want them.
They all die at the end.
I don't want them cutting the podcast just because they haven't seen Gravity yet. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, the movie's been out for like 3 or 4 years. I mean, spoiler alert. You should have seen the movie. Go ahead, at least just tell us what you like about it the most. I mean, is it the strength of Sandy's performance? Because I'm totally there with you for that. She won an Oscar, didn't she? I mean, it's an awesome performance.
It is. So basically, the Russian fucking satellite, because of course, I mean, those damn Russians always trying to be a thorn in our side. It's the Cold War. Cold War never really ended, right? And so basically, you watch Sandra Bullock's character move from her shuttle to the International Space Station. She's got no contact with Houston, as it were. Can't get in contact with anybody. Has got to figure out a way to land back on Earth completely by herself. And there's very few people on Earth who could pull off a one-man or one-woman show, and she did it. And it phenomenal, great movie. Don't want to spoil it. Go see it.
Sandra Bullock, the God. All right, and since we're running a little bit long, let me just do my pick real quick at the end. And it's a little bit of a controversial pick. Maybe we'll debate it on another podcast. But technically, it checks all the boxes. I'm going with Empire Strikes Back, Princess Leia. And
that's the one.
What's that? That's the one.
That's the one that. Yeah, the movie that you would pick that I would never pick in a million years is any Star Wars movie. And I don't.
And that, I mean, God, we honestly need to have a Peter intervention podcast at some point, just for the Empire Strikes Back alone. easily one of the top 5 movies of all time, if not one of the best movies of all time. And she doesn't kick as much ass in that movie as, say, she does in Return of the Jedi, but as a character, we know that Princess Leia is hella strong. I mean, she used to run Alderaan until it got blown to smithereens. I mean, she can tote a gun, she can fend off Han Solo's advances, yet still fall in love with him at the same time. Very tricky. Very tricky. So and she's she's a rider. She's a ride or die chick, and we are totally there for her. So Princess Leia from Empire Strikes Back, and that is the darkest of the three, pretty much of the entire series. Quite honestly, it's a really dark movie, but I liked it. Everyone loved it. I remember seeing it in the theater. Yes, as a boy, probably before you were born, Peter. I remember seeing that joint. I loved it. Had William Falcon, all that good stuff. That is my 5th and final pick, and we made it. That's right. Got through that segment. Appreciate it. So now we're going to get to, we're going to handle a little business, a little Cinema Draft business. And what is Cinema Draft for all you new and old returning people? It is basically the fantasy sports version of the movies. You draft 10 actors, all of whom are assigned a dollar value salary. You have $100K in the budget to try and draft all 10 of your actors. No more, no less. You have to have 10. You must draft at least one of each of the 3 release types of movies. Wide, 2,000 screens or up. Limited, between 500 and 2,000 screens. Or platform, 500 screens or under. You must have at least one of each actor, one actor of each type on your call sheet, which is your lineup of actors. And be sure to try to choose your headliners. They are worth 40% more. So, for example, if Suicide Squad opens with $100 million on an opening weekend, Margot Robbie would get 100 points, while headliner Will Smith would get 140. See that 40% bonus? Very key. Hashtag major key. Big shouts, DJ Khaled. This game is free to play, and by the time you hear this, oh, I thought it was drum roll. Okay, wrong effect. Here's the effect. By the time you hear this, we will be live. Yeah. Cinema Draft is open for business. We are in invite-only private beta, accepting the first 250 players to sign up. Go to cinemadraft.co, go to our landing page, sign up for the free beta. You will get information on how to join the site, and we're only letting in the first 250 in VIP. Once we hit 251, you're cut off. No, once we hit 250, you're cut off. You got to wait till next weekend. So make sure you check us out. And limited space available in the opening weekend's feature presentation. It is a $250 prize pool, free to play. It's a free roll. I think we're giving 80 away to first, so definitely check it out. And make sure you make use of the shot list. So the shot list is basically, views you can use to pick the winning Cinema Draft call sheet. It's broken up into 3 parts. The first part is called the A list, and these are actors you're definitely going to want to have on your call sheet this weekend. And this weekend we have opening of, the big budget movie opening in wide release this weekend is Deepwater Horizon. Now, I will admit, usually I do a little bit of research or check the tracking. I've done none of that. We're trying to launch this bad boy this weekend, so I'm just kind of going my gut here. But I have a good feeling that Deepwater Horizon is going to open to at least 20 million or more. We're looking at Mark Wahlberg as a headliner for that 40% bonus, as well as Kate Hudson. So I would say definitely draft you some Kate Hudson to get that 40% bonus, because she is $800 cheaper. Also on the A list, I would say, you know what? This might be a little bit of a shot in the dark, but it's geared towards families, so might as well go with Eva Green from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's opening super wide, 3,520 screens. It's good. It's aimed towards family, the family audience. It's a little darker, a little weirder. The trailer I've seen has like the young girl with like the teeth in the back of her head and all that kind of craziness. So it might skew, just weird enough that it might get a cross section of people who don't want to go to see a disaster flick like Deepwater Horizon. So Ava Green is the second person on the A list. Now, co-starring are some values you might want to look out for this weekend. Since you must have one from the platform release type, I am going with any one of the actors. Well, actually, no, I'm going with the headliner actor in MS Dhoni, The Untold Story. Now, what is that movie? I have no idea. I believe it is an Indian biopic of a famous cricket player, famous Indian, as in like East Indian cricket player. So get you some Sushant Singh Rajput. Hope I said that correctly. He is the lead in this film. He is playing MS Dhoni. I guess he's a very famous cricket player. Very affordable, 7,700. So slide him into your call sheet at the platform release type on 260 screens, and it might be our widest platform release of the weekend. So make sure you check that out as a co-starring value. And also, I mean, until they prove us otherwise, I mean, the old holdover from the last 3 weeks at this point, No Manches Frida, still getting work in. That is probably going to be, we're estimating it's going to be about 350, 400 screens with the accorded price drop. So you can probably get Frida for 7,500. They're all priced the same since we are unfamiliar to North American audiences who these stars are. So all priced at 7,500, very affordable. Slide Martha Higareda or Omar Chaparro, Omar Chaparro, slide them into your call sheet. It's like you slide into that girl's DMs, all right? Yeah, I see you getting wavy over there, Peter. I see you. And then Cutting Room Floor, which is basically skip these losers this weekend, as these films are totally overpriced at their release point. At the limited release type, Suicide Squad's probably going to be somewhere between 1,500 and 1,900 screens. It has made its money. There's no more money to be made. Skip that loser. All them actors. Will Smith, I love you, but not right now. I loved you 8 weeks ago. So skip that loser and Don't Breathe. We already know that these type of horror and suspense films are notoriously front-loaded. So Don't Breathe on Don't Breathe. Just don't breathe on it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Save yourself the trouble. Even if it's cheap, it's fool's gold. Only 6,500 for Dylan Minetti as a headliner. But don't do it, fam. Don't do it. So unlit. It is dry as kindling. Don't do it. Actually, it's wet as a pool. It's not lit. It's anti-lit. Do not do it. All right, and that is the shot list. Views you can use to pick the winning call sheet. And you know what? Actually, I want to do a new segment. Damn it! I want to. Peter, are you on our site right now? Can you get onto our beta site? We're gonna go through a call list. Damn it, a call sheet. We're gonna have you pick a call sheet to show the people how it's done. Done around these parts, and see if we can't get some insight into how to build a winning call sheet. You're going to lead the way. I'm going to kind of look over your shoulder. We're going to screen share and show the process, and I'm give some helpful advice as the originator of this Cinema Draft game.
Yeah. So my only so I'm gonna.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't think we have any contests for you to choose from.
Well,
all right, my bad.
Yeah, I was
that'll be a future segment. But yeah, go ahead and say what you were thinking.
Well, I'm screen sharing right now, so if you're watching the video cast version of this podcast, you can see it. And I've got actually like a whole bunch of tournaments that I'm in, and most of them are basically just testing nonsense that we've been doing as we've been building the product out. And but you can kind of see sort of.
Oh yeah, click into one of your old call sheets. Yeah, show them what it looks like when it's been scored out.
Well, so I've got right now. I'm getting, I'm bottom of the barrel here on in sixth place. My call sheet is not doing so well.
At least our scroll feature works. That's good to see.
Yeah, it sure does. That it's funny how difficult sometimes that shit is. I picked Peter Sarsgaard for some inexplicable reason over Denzel Washington. Why? I don't know.
Namesake?
I think no, because I don't like Peter Sarsgaard. I've hated him ever since Garden State, and I hate him now even more. So I don't know why I picked him. It was an accident. I love Denzel. Why didn't I pick Denzel?
And Denzel's a headliner too. You could have got a 40% bonus. Could have got, I think, 49 points for your trouble.
Oh, I know, and it's funny because Peter Sarsgaard the salary is just slightly less than Denzel. It's only a few $1,000s less. So why I picked him, no fucking clue. But I did pick the headliner from Blair Witch because Blair Witch has always been a favorite of mine. I'm a big found footage guy. Now let's be very clear. I do not like the Paranormal Activity movie. So if you associate found footage with Paranormal Activity, you are mistaken. Not a fan, but I do love found footage movies, starting with the Blair Witch. So I'm very hyphy, very lit over this remake.
Oh, hyphy! I like it. I like it.
E40 in the bay. Tell me when to go.
Ghost ride the pod. Ghost ride the pod.
That's what we're doing out here. Is we are ghost riding this pod. So this Blair Witch, it's actually a sequel, not a remake. But either way, very excited for it. So as you can see, I have my wide release movies pretty well represented here, majority or about halfway with my platform releases. So I've got both wide and platform release films represented in my call sheet. And I did sneak in Melanie Hines from The Wildlife. I'll be totally honest, this was completely a numbers move. I do not know. I do not know who Melanie Hines is, and I do not know what The Wildlife is, but I think I needed the $6,000 to put in the call sheet to complete the sheet and make it.
Fair enough. Click on Melanie Hines' name so we can see her actor card. Because who is Melanie Hines? Damn it!
Oh, what a dope app that tells me what she's in. Basically, just this movie.
But no picture. Okay, so we don't see who she is, but at least we see what she's about. That's cool.
Yeah, maybe not the best example. But Peter Sarsgaard has been in The Magnificent Seven. This is his latest thing. He hasn't really done anything in a while since then. And so,
your nemesis.
Yeah. So, but as you can see, this is kind of the makeup of a call sheet. This is
that's cool. And leave it up for a second. Let me see if I can. I wonder if we can hold this frame. Let's from a quote unquote expert, only because I actually made the game. Otherwise, I'm actually pretty average in this game. Jaybird, I'm coming for you. He won again this week. Jason Green, that's his test name. I'm sure he'll probably go by Jaybird when we start and terrorize all of our Cinema Draft faithful. But so here's my critique of your call sheet. It's a valid call sheet. You hit all the spots, which is cool. Looks like can you scroll up a little bit so we can see how much salary you have left over? Okay, perfect. So you have less than looks like 1% of salary left over. That's good. You want to use up as far as allowable salary left over. You kind of want to use as much as possible. I personally like to leave about 1% or less. I mean not 1%, but 5% or less left over. So where'd it go? Peter. Oh, there you go. All right. Okay, so you did a good job of using up your salary. Disappointments room has been a disappointment. That's why it's min price at $5,000. Unless you were just totally punting those slots to try to get more Magnificent Seven in, I might have tried to avoid that. See if I could have gotten something on the lower end that would have performed a little bit better. Snowden's not bad, but it showed signs of flagging after its first weekend. So I probably might have went towards Storks. Storks came out last weekend. If you could have done the winning combination, seemed like it was either 2 of Storks and 1 of Magnificent Seven, or 2 of Magnificent Seven and 1 of Storks. Because Storks opened pretty wide, it brought in 21 million. Otherwise, you did a pretty good job trying to get the bigger budget releases in. And then you kind of punt the limited release, with a movie you didn't really know anything about. There wasn't much to choose from last weekend for limited release, so it was a valiant effort.
Here's the thing, though. This highlights kind of how I think. I mean, you can guess in this game and maybe get it right sometimes, but to really be good at Cinema Draft, you have to really know the box office and all of the movies that are out, because I consider myself to be, a bigger movie fan than the average person. And I had no idea, like I said, who Melanie Hines or The Wildlife. I had no idea what that was. So if you really want to edge in this game, you have to be, as you told me when you first introduced the concept to me, you have to be quite the box office gangster. You just do.
Get your swole on, get your roll on. Yeah, you have to. I mean, and there are people out there who take it serious, like the infamous Jaybird. Like I think he might even have like an optimizer. I'm not even sure. He's really in the life. But I mean, there are definitely going to be some tools out there that you can find on your own that down the line development will provide for you, so we can make it even more fun, so you can get a leg up on the strategy of the game. But it's gonna. But yeah, it's a combination of the box office itself, the stars. Trends as far as genres and types of movies, the time of year. Like, for example, January is a terrible time of year for movies, and so you might want to lay off of like the wide releases and go more towards the indie films. Whereas, wintertime or the summertime, it's all blockbuster all the time, dominating the box office. A lot of little things that make this a really fun, interesting game with a lot of game theory and strategy involved to it. And to be honest, it takes a lot of skill. It is #skill game. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing you guys jump in on the Cinema Draft game. We will have launched by the time you see this. We're very excited. Come join us on the site. To wrap this up, I want to introduce a quick little segment here, which I'm calling the over-under. So in order to determine who goes first next week on the Cinema Draft podcast, to snake each other's picks like we've been doing, we're gonna hold over-under on Deepwater Horizon. All right, and I'm just going to pick a fairly arbitrary number. I have not checked the tracking, so this is done off of zero box office insider information. And I'm going to peg a number of 20 million as being the over for Deepwater Horizon this weekend. Peter, you're going to take the under, and the winner gets to pick first next week. Does that sound fair?
It actually does sound fair because this movie looks like a pile of dog shit. And but the American public loves dog shit, so you definitely have a really strong chance. But I'll be honest, the Deepwater Horizon, I don't think that shit went down anything like the movie is portraying. And I think people may be a little burned out on Mark Wahlberg and his hardo act. So,
that's from a Boston native. A Boston native is putting his fellow Boston native on Front Street.
Well, no, dude, I love Mark Wahlberg, and The Departed is one of the greatest movies that has ever been shot, period. But this movie looks ridiculous. And, like, to see, like, the trailer, and he's being all dramatic, it's like, dude, I don't think the Deepwater Horizon went down anything like this. So, yeah, I'll take the under. That is more than fair. I am on with it.
All right, so there's our over-under. New segment this week. Hold us to it. We'll see who will prevail. I think it'll be over 20 million in box office this weekend. Peter will take the under. And that's going to wrap it up for us on this edition of the Cinema Draft Podcast, Episode 5. Glad you guys have hung with us this entire time. Appreciate it. And we are open for business. When you see this, go to our site, cinemadraft.co. Sign up for an invite to the free beta. And we do mean invite. The first 250 get into VIP. Follow us on social media on Twitter at @PlayCinemaDraft, Facebook CinemaDraft, Instagram @CinemaDraft, Medium /@CinemaDraft, and Pinterest CinemaDraft. You can also subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already at iTunes, Google Music, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcasting outlet. And join us in the feature presentation. Once you're all signed up and good to go, got your funny, ironic, sarcastic screen name all together, you can join us in the feature presentation. $250 prize pool, free to play, $80 to the winner. Join us. Theater counts lock at 6 p.m. on Thursday. The game starts at 10 p.m. on Thursday. By the way, theater counts lock means that whatever the amount of theaters that we have information on are showing your films is what we're locking it at for the release types, so you have certainty for your call sheets. And then the game itself will start 4 hours later at 10 p.m. All times are Pacific. Thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for being with us again, and we will see you next time. Damn, I need an outro.